and how they play out and so on. So you can brand Grisham, but there's some authors I don't think you can brand that clearly. Thank you.
I think that's a really good point, and I completely agree. There's some authors where you kind of think, okay, J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, magic, and you can't actually name a lot of the other stuff that she's done. However, as like for yourself, Stephen, like you've written so many different books, I think you can actually come up with a branding based on your persona and your writing style, because that actually, like, even if you're writing in different genres, the people that follow your books can then go, this is his writing style, and that actually becomes part of your brand. I think that's a different way of looking at it, instead of just doing it by genre. And of course, we're just kind of throwing out ideas here, but it's something like that that's kind of, that just unifies yourself. Yes, Robert?
Yes, I was going to agree with Stephen because I have most of my books are spiritual books. And I have another one projected now that I've just started on. And then Joy for the Journey is a spiritual book, which is already published. And then I also have written a murder mystery that is going to go to the publisher's editors this week after I've done my 13th rewrite and cleaned out what I call the sticky notes, that change this, change that, and so on. Anyway, if that were the thing I was pushing, if I were pushing mostly the mystery stories, which I'm thinking of writing under a pseudonym, that it would be so-and-so, the Gumshoe Priest. Gumshoepriest.com is my domain name for my blog and my I can't think of the word here. We use it all the time. Website, and so that would be one thing. Now, for Stephen, I was going to suggest, your name and then say, he's so diverse. I'm not sure. And diversity, of course, as you know, is a buzzword today. So if you listed that, say, on a search engine and somebody was looking up diversity, your name and your books would come up. That's, one thing. I'm still not sure if I use a different name for the author for the murder mysteries. The first one that I have ready to go is called Inclined to Mischief, a Father Jack mystery. And I only can say I wish I were as holy a man as Father Jack is, and that I was observant as he is. But at any rate, I would probably have another name for my spiritual books. And for that reason, they're really quite separate, because although there's a religious aspect to the Father Jack mysteries, there's scenes in there, that people, is this what this man thinks about, and that sort of thing. So even though it's only lightly veiled, I think I would use the pseudonym. For the others, I'm not really sure what I would use, but they all sort of center on our relationship directly with God, with Jesus, and how that plays out in different ways. As a Catholic Christian, it would be for sacraments, for example, would be an area of that, and so would the idea of anything in terms of loving God and loving neighbor would be the essential core of my spiritual writings. So anyway, I would have to come up with something for that, but I'm not quite sure what I could come up with. But as they say, I surrender the rest of my time.
If I could interrupt you, Brother Bob, there is one area where I see branding is very spot on, and it's generally on the name of the author. His name will be on, or her name will be larger in print than the title of the book. So that's certainly a brand that we'd all like to enjoy one day.
Agreed.
Exactly, agree.
I think Robert brought up a lot of good points, like the use of a pseudonym is actually a very interesting point because a lot of authors do that and they write different genres under different names because one name is like a whole different brand. And so that's their way and their strategy of branding themselves and differentiating their own work with different names. So I think that's a really good point. And you also brought up using taglines, things like saying, "Oh, you're a diverse author." So we could go Stephen Nielsen, author of diversity, or things like that. Like that actually is a very good point. And you're right, with the world right now, with Google and web traffic optimization, those buzzwords and things like that can definitely help you differentiate your own author brand or your book brand to others. So I think those were excellent points that were raised. And that actually leads us very neatly to our second point of why we want to improve business branding. And that's because it attracts new readers. It like having that business brand can just attract the attention of people using taglines and things like that. Yes, John.
Well, you know what I'd like to hear from John. What was your last name, John? Harold?
Yes.
I'd like to hear from you. What's the name of your book that you have out there?
I said earlier it was the One-Legged Cowboy. I don't know if you can see it.
Aha.
Man, amazing.
But anyway, I have a very good website that's been developed with animation,
Amazing.
and it lists all my books and a big write-up about me. And I think that's my bonding, my brand.
Your branding, yes, absolutely. I think so as well. Having a good website, something that's eye-catching with taglines and animation, that's a way that you can differentiate yourself and actually attract new readers. And it's definitely things like imagery, things like maybe a color that you want to associate with yourself. Things like that is actually very integral to branding and having your own author brand. So on your website, can you name something on your website that is a feature that you think is actually integral to the brand of yourself and your book, John?
Mm-hmm. You want me? I think the best way, if you could have seen it, it has almost like my biography there with it, and my what else you want to say about it? It's done very well professionally, and it creates a lot of interest. The people who have seen it are very impressed. It has my name in big letters.
John, can you share the website address with us?
Yes.
Incidentally, your books and all of our books are up on the meeting chat. So if you click on that, then there's a printout there. But anyway, I really appreciate having that. I think it'd be an experience.
Okay, it's johnharoldbooks.com.
Okay.
Frank, am I able to share my screen? Is that something
we can do that? Yes.
And maybe we can look at the website and actually point out eye-catching things.
Yes, let's see. Let's try that.
Nice to do. And if any of the other authors have a website as well, we could do a comparison.
I do.
Yes, I do too.
Excellent.
Can you do it now, Kate?
Sorry, John, what was the web address again?
John Harold Books, all one word, .com.
What about Napra Soren? What is the name of your book?
My name, the book name is From Religious to Relationship. So I just got here. I love this conversation so much because all of us love the Lord. So I'm so happy to see everyone that have the same belief. So that is I just got here. I'm just baby believer. So okay, are we good?
Can
All
everyone
right.
see my screen?
So
Looks
Yeah,
good,
I saw
John
the
Merrill.
screen.
Looks really
Very,
good.
very good. Like look like a movie. Look professional.
And
Mhm.
everything animated, which is really great. You can see images coming in. There's John. And John, I think just from looking at this, the
Wow.
hat you're wearing and
That's
your
the brand.
that's your brand.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
brand.
That's
Yes.
the
So say for example, every time you do book signing, you always need to wear that hat
Wow. That's a
because
signature.
that's what will help you remind people of, your brand.
Yes, that's important.
I think so. It is important. And you have a book that's based on cowboys. You've got the one-legged cowboy on Gold Fever. So I think that is absolutely an amazing brand tool for you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Who else has a website?
I do.
All right, Rob, what's the web address?
It's Gumshoe Priest, all one word,
Is it
.com.
GUM Gumshoe Priest?
Yeah.
Kaylin, I even do have an idea for what do you call this? For author John Harold. So say for example, if you're doing book signings, you might want to prepare some cowboy hats, keychains, which you can give out as freebies, right? Aside from your books. Again, that is your brand, right?
Okay. Great. I know my brand now.
Absolutely.
And
And
this is Father
Father
Bob.
Robert, that's right, Father Bob's website.
And then I have all these quotes from different people, but unfortunately, after the last one, I got extremely sick because I had an accident. Somebody dropped me on the
Oh.
floor and so I've been in a wheelchair since then,
Mm.
except I did some walking at a point, but I was able to get back to it. So I have to go back and update everything there. It says pre-order book. I've got to change that to order the book. Which is currently on Amazon and in some of the bookstores. So it's kind of a cool thing. I enjoy it, and I will intend to open this up to when I do modifications on this, I will do some things or interaction with people that may have questions or comments or whatever, and that's also pretty helpful.
I love
Anyway,
the name Gumshoe Priest. That's a very Gumshoe
Steven.
Priest. It's very catchy.
I agree.
like that.
I agree.
One of my characters in that novel invented the name. And she's a crazy nun who's like 85 years old, and she's got a little drinking problem. And she's also got every piece of detective fiction that was written going back to Arthur Conan Doyle. And the entire walls of that convent over 3 floors are devoted to her collection of that, And so she talks like as if she were a,
Looks like they've come
criminal.
to take you away.
Argo.
Bob.
Say what?
Looks like they've come to take you away.
Oh no, they're coming to take me away. Haha. Yes. let me mute my stop my video for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
Bob,
be back.
I hope you can still hear us. But I was actually thinking with a website like this, something really interesting to include is music, because you can add music to websites now. If you have something like that, like once you open the website, and I don't know what music or what type of feeling you're going for, but if you had spiritual music or just a nice background music that you could add to your website, could also add to the personal branding.
That's awesome.
All right. Nepasoren, did you have a
Hi.
website?
Yes, I do. So my website, my original, before I met Reader Magnet. So I have done like 5 Thai restaurants before. So when I met the Lord, and I have 2 yoga studio before in the past 24 years before I
Wow.
write the book. So this is new to me. The book business is very, very new to me. So my original plan that when I have the website, I would love to share the true story from my life, that before Christ and after Christ.
Yes.
So I make the website like this because of I am going to translate the English to Thai. So I put my website is a fathers with the S, fathers with the S, business publishing.com. So my heart is long for Thailand people, and one of my original publisher, they told me that I can form the company to the website. I can translate English to Thai myself, so I can publish my Thai book in Thailand by myself. So that's why I put the father's business publishing.com. So as the brother and sister in Christ know that when Jesus said that I'm going to do the father business, when he's talked to his father and mother, so I just use that in my meaningful to me, like I'm get ready to do father business. So it's just me. It's just like and just share the people that, because I love business. 5 Thai restaurant, 2 yoga studio, and now I do finance business, and then another restaurant that I helping people to open. So here, father's business publishing.com. But I also in my heart that if God willing that I can have like ministry, so I'm going to use a father business ministry. So that's kind of related to the band that I love to do, like father business is this father business publishing or father business ministry when God opened the door for me to go to Thailand.
I think that's amazing, Napasorn, that you have a vision, something that ties together everything that you're actually doing, not just with your book, but with your businesses and your life.
And also my Thai restaurant in downtown Orlando that I have for 20 years is named Napasorn Thai Restaurant. So people already know me as a Napasorn Thai. My nickname is Moo, M-O-O. Moo means pig in Thailand. Whoever that live here in Orlando, they know my story that I eat like a pig. So my first year when I came over here, I gained almost 30 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So I gained a lot, like in 4 months. So that's why when my customer tell me about Bikram yoga, it's a hot yoga. And
how do you pronounce your last name, Naprasad? How do you pronounce your last name?
Wuttitanarat. Wuttitanarat.
You don't run into it every day.
That's right.
My nephew last name is 20 letters. So Ponwatana Wichit. That's last name only.
Wow.
It's pretty unique.
I think Moo, do you mind if I call you Moo?
No, I don't mind at all.
Okay, absolutely. I think Moo is something you can add to your website and your personal branding. You can actually put something in Thai, because I can see in your that you're proud that you've come from Bangkok, Thailand, and you now live in Orlando. But you can put something maybe somewhere here in this space, maybe an animation of Thai and the English translation, just to get people to really zoom into your website.
Yeah, and you see that I have a podcast. I have 3 Thai podcasts. I have a podcast as well, and link to the YouTube. So the YouTube name Father Business. So I try to use that, be a brand. So Father Business.
Yes,
so and my YouTube and the Facebook.
Sorry, that ties in quite well to the next point of why business branding is so important, because it boosts your brand presence. Things like tying your brand to different things that you do on the internet, like Napasorn has done, is quite important when it comes to people Googling what you do. I think, John, like for example, for your brand, because you have the brand of the cowboy hat, if someone cowboy hat author, John Harold would come out. Something like that. Like if you market yourself as being the boy author. It boosts your brand presence online and also offline. If you end up going to any book fairs, or if you're in a bookstore and someone sees a cowboy hat, that's John.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how that brand presence really boosts your online and your offline presence. I think
Right.
that was a good exercise going through your websites. We saw different ways that you guys have been promoting yourself already, and you guys are doing really, really well. And I think, of course, there's always room to improve, which is why we're having this forum right now, so we can speak to each other and see how we can help each other out.
Right.
Any questions before we move on to the next importance of improving your business brand? Just conscious that I think our time is, are we a little over time, Frank? Can you please
We
clarify?
still
Or
have 30 more minutes actually.
okay, great. Okay, great. Any questions?
Yeah, you said we have 10. What one are we on now?
We are on number 4.
Number 4. Okay. I just wonder if we can get through all 10.
I think we can in the next 30 minutes. Because right now we're on number 4, and 4 and 5 I think are a little bit tied together. So in the
Okay.
for time, let's talk about number 4 and number 5 together.
Okay.
I can see that Robert is muted. Are you able to mute yourself, or has that locked for? I think it's locked. James, can you?
Looks like Reverend is muted.
There.
Reverend Baum is muted.
Unmute.
There we go.
Okay,
Okay,
there we go.
Reverend
It
Bob.
was a mime for a while.
I like
Okay.
your websites. They're very good. Really very good.
Yeah. Yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
Brother John website is love to know who do for you.
Okay.
Father John, who did your website?
Pardon?
Who did your website?
Oh my goodness. One of the youth ministers in our parish. I think people that were born before probably after 1970 years in there, they're not born with an umbilical cord. They're born with a USB cable.
How about you, John?
Who?
Who did your website?
John?
You want what?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Who did your website?
Oh, who did it? Worth Written Media, Nashville, Tennessee.
Let's see. Okay. All right. But you can also speak to your Reader's Magnet
Mhm.
contact, because
Right.
that's
Oh yeah,
something you can
one of my
potentially
books is yeah, yes, yes.
Yes, because you shouldn't just stop in getting or having a website. All right. We need to make sure that's actually number 4 and 5 topics, that we get to reach to the right audience and retain loyal audience on your website.
Well, this does incorporate Reader's Magnet, the one book that they did for me, which is this One-Legged Cowboy.
Mm.
Okay. As Frank has alluded to, points number 4 and 5 of the importance of improving your business branding is reaching the right readers and retaining these readers. So with your personal brand, the people that are actually interested in the genre that you write, if you have a tagline and a personal brand, that's how these people can find you and reach you. Whether it be through Google or whether it be in the bookstores, because we all know that each person has their preference of what types of books they want to read. And so having a personal brand can actually help you reach that target audience of yours. Does anyone have any thoughts about retaining and reaching the right readers?
Yes. Yes, but a reader magnet can help us for that.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Good thing that I believe, all of you already has a website. And like what I shared earlier, a website is already a good start. But the thing is we need to make sure that there's a lot of people, a good amount of people knows that you already have a website. And again, it's also not just enough to drive traffic to the website, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we get to hook them, keep them, not just for a few seconds, but for several minutes or even hours if necessary, and eventually click that buy button, right? So
Yeah.
yes, that's something that Reader's Magnet can do, right? And search engine optimization. That's basically something that you need to have or you need to do if you're doing business online. It's almost mandatory.
And how do you do that?
Oh, okay, good question. Call your publishing consultant. Yes.
If I may add, one of the first things is as you're typing your title page, or your forward or whatever is going to be in the front matter of your book, it's important that you say to define who your audience is. Once you've defined who your audience is, then it's translatable into what your taglines on, let's say, a search engine would be, or whatever. Now, for the Gumshoe Priest, it would have to start with somehow the word mystery, and then only that after Father Jack or something, Master Detective, something like that. But it has to start with the tagline of the genre that you're trying to reach. That's important. Now, my autobiography, My Life as a Failure, it's important that there's a lot of spirituality in that book. I don't write books that don't have spirituality in them, but it's also an autobiography. But primarily it's a self-help book, and those really sell pretty well. So I would probably want to market that in a special way. I've already thought of that because I'm probably the oldest person here. That number one, I've had years and years and years of experience at things. A lot of us have had that. But the idea is that my book, I dealt with things. I had a lot of famous people that I interacted with when I was doing public relations in San Francisco. And those people were big during the day that I was functioning there in that capacity. But youth doesn't know that. So I put footnotes on all of the names of people that they're not likely to know. And I had my sweet little secretary come in and help me one Sunday of having her read the footnote, and I then asking her, do you understand now who that guy is or was? And she said yes to the 36 footnotes that are there. Okay, so, but the older audience doesn't need that. The older audience would be reading this partly for nostalgia and partly for the idea that it's never too late to change the things that have been keeping us from success. And of course, with Moo, I would say it's not just us who change, it's God who allows us to change or leads us into constructive change. So that would be a different genre than most of my spiritual books. And I'd want to have a different tagline for that, even though they're both all those books are under my real name. So anyway, that's what I think is important for us to get started: is who is your audience and what appeals to them.
Agreed.
Same.
I think raised a really good point, Bob, about that audience, and just knowing who your target audience is and tailoring your website, tailoring your biography towards that audience to retain them and keep them loyal. Exactly about the business. It's kind of like forming your own, I guess you could say, your own fans, like you have your own fandom,
Your own community.
your own community.
Yes. Even
Link for your book.
understanding the keywords that are useful in order for you to be searchable online, that's actually very important, which you've actually
Yes.
just raised earlier, Father Bob. Oh, by
Yes.
the way, we are joined by Monique, Kathy, and Wilkinson Francois. Wilkinson, do you have your camera?
She's still muted.
Can we please unmute Monique and Wilkinson as well, please?
I'm actually working on my video. I can't even see myself.
At least we can hear you, Wilkinson. That's good.
Wilkinson is a regular with our roundtable sessions.
Mm.
Hi there,
Great.
Monique.
Hello.
All right, perfect. Okay.
I think just a quick recap. We're talking about the importance of your own personal branding and business branding, and we've got 10 points of why improving your business brand is important. We're currently on point number 5, but the first 5 was it differentiates your brand from others, it attracts new readers. The third is it boosts brand presence. 4, retains loyal readers, and number 5, reaches the right readers. So we are now on point number 6 of why improving your business brand is really important. And this is that it authorizes premium pricing. So the gist of this is basically if you're known for a certain style or known for a certain genre, and your readers and your community knows you for this, you can actually put a premium on the pricing, for example.
Yes.
And one of the example I keep bringing up is J.K. Rowling, because she's done so well with this. She can put a premium on her Harry Potter books and like that, because people know what the story is about. She has her own community around those books. And so she can actually put a premium on the pricing. So having your own personal and business branding actually can do this for you. It can allow you to sell at a premium price. Does anyone have any thoughts about this?
How do you know when to put a premium on?
Sorry, what was that, John?
When does one put a premium on their book?
I think one of the ways you know is when you have a loyal following. So this is how it flows on from from points number 4 and 5 that we were talking about.
Yeah.
That once you have your loyal followers and your community that they know and they Sorry, can you hear me? There's a little bit of
Yeah,
background
we
noise.
can hear you.
Okay, great. So once you have that following and they're loyal to you, you can start putting a premium on your books because they like your brand, they like the genres that you put out, and so you know that they will follow your book. So I think it's definitely a goal, an author's goal, to have that following and that your loyal readers, who will give you that ability to put a premium on your books.
It's when you don't need to even introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I think that's a really good point, Frank. Yep.
Well, that's going to take some time to get that.
To build.
Yes.
That's why simply having a website isn't enough. There's so much that you need to do. Right.
Right.
Agreed. But I think like it's when we're just discussing about business brand, I think it's so important that we understand how improving the business brand can actually open up a lot more doors for you guys as authors. And this is one of the things. This is one of the things that I feel is a stretch goal. Like you want to be able to get to the point where you put premium on your books, so that you know that you have a place in the market, I suppose. James has kindly just put all the 10 points that we will be discussing in the chat if anyone needs to refer to that.
Yes, thank you, James. Yeah.
Any other thoughts about premium pricing? All right.
How do you know? How do you know who your loyal readers are? How do you determine that?
I think that's a really good question, John. I think when it comes to loyal readers and the market that you're looking after, it's important to look at the statistics of people who buy your book. I know some websites, I think like Amazon, if your book is up on Amazon, I think might be able to give you a little snapshot of the demographic of the people that buy your books. And it's something that you can definitely speak to your publishing consultants. There's ways that Reader's Magnet can help you look at the demographic of who's looking at your website, who's reading your book, who's Googling and interested in the keywords that you have on your website. So that understanding goes a long way of determining who your target audience is. And once you have a good idea of who your target audience is, you can actually tailor your content even more to hone on those on your target audience and keep those readers loyal to you.
To piggyback on that, Caitlin, there is this service we call website traffic optimization, which you can go ahead and discuss with your publishing consultants. And what, like Caitlin said, it is important that you know and you get to discuss with them the demographics and your target audience. And it is also important that you get to have a weekly or even monthly report as to how the website is performing, so you would know what needs to be changed in the upcoming months. And with that being said, it should not be just done in a month or so. It should be like, let's just say on a week 6 months campaign period, say for example, so you would know exactly if there is an improvement, right? Or if you are targeting the right audience. So that's something that you can discuss with them.
We have not heard from Francois Wilkinson or Kathy.
I'm here. I'm listening, and I just put something on a chat. Recently, I looked into something called Google Tag Manager because I maintain my own website. So that's something that you might want to look into. There's an actual course, I believe, about either a company or a gentleman who has his own channel on YouTube. So one of the things, I mean, there's a lot of work to put in when you look into that stuff. So you might want to be careful. Or if you have a web developer that maintain your website, if they're going to charge you a little bit more, then you might want to tell them about it. So one of the things that I learned from Google Tag Manager is being able to track down who clicks from where on your website, who does this, and who doesn't really click the buy button, and a lot of those things, and you can have them sign up for your newsletter, and if they don't, then you might know that they're the same person that revisits the website. So there's a whole lot of things that you can actually do with that kind of stuff, but it's kind of like a lot involved, but it's something to worth looking into. I myself have been following and updating my own websites, but I'm too busy, and a lot of times I just push it to the side and focus on other things.
That's the thing.
Basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you really need to have a dedicated set of people who will be zoned into the project, because Google algorithm, it changes, right? And your website needs to follow the language of Google. And aside from that, there are okay, let me give you a quick idea. There's this what we call SEO on page and SEO off page. So on page SEO is what we do on the website, while off page SEO are the backlinks. So it is also important that we mention or we mention your book or your website through other websites, backlinking. You can discuss it with your publishing consultants. All right.
Thanks, Wilkinson, for sharing that. I think that's the beauty of these roundtable sessions, that you share the resources that authors use to actually help their own business brand. Google Tag Manager is absolutely a good idea. James has also listed some other ways you can look at demographics: Amazon buyer demographics, analytics on your website, and followers on any of your social media like Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So that's definitely one way that you can track your demographics and see who your target audience is.
Thank you. So helpful.
Great. That's good. It's good to hear. Like, if something is helpful for you, absolutely call it out, because this is the beauty of the roundtable sessions, as I was saying.
Yeah, I'm taking note.
All right. Point number 7 is that it gives you credibility. So if your personal brand is developed and honed for your target audience, it actually gives you credibility. Your online presence, people know and are confident in your ability as an author, and they're sure of the quality of your work. That's one way that improving your business brand can give you an extra edge over some of the other authors. I can see Wilkinson's video has worked. Hello, Wilkinson.
I know. Oh, magical.
Can you name an author you think is really credible and that you vouch for the quality of their work? And let's discuss on why he actually has that credibility.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a question for me?
Yep. No, well, it was a question for anyone. Which author do you think is so credible? Like, absolutely anything this person puts out, is top quality.
Agatha Christie.
Yes. Oh, that's a really good one. Agatha Christie. And I think what's even more interesting is Agatha Christie was writing in a time where social media was not a thing.
Absolutely.
There was no Facebook, no Instagram, no websites, and yet Agatha Christie is world renowned. And you can think of her personal branding of her mystery novels and the way that she writes. And she had a following. She started a following, and slowly that following got bigger and bigger. And now when she put out a new book, people knew that the quality was there.
So how you start building your follower? Like
what we were talking about
social media.
Yes, social media, knowing your target audience and really targeting those readers that are into the genre that you're writing about, and things like that. Like, these things may seem small, but over time, if you do them well, they build up. And it's like a little pebble on the hill. Like, it keeps rolling and rolling, goes faster and faster, and got a boulder,
If you're doing well, that's
Yeah. Yes.
it's
But then, like, I think that's why these communities are so important. The roundtable that we're doing now, Reader's Magnet, will absolutely also help you out, because we want to get you started on that journey. Take one step, and then suddenly, before you know it, you've got a following for your books. That's our goal for you as authors as well, because we want that for you.
Thank you. Yeah. That's out of the comfort zone. I have done so many business, but for the book business, it's just way out of my comfort zone.
Don't worry, Moo. Everyone probably started as a first-time author. I know a lot of you have multiple books out now, but everyone had to start with that first book. And you're surrounded by like-minded people who know how it is to write the book. Wilkinson just said, I wish Jane Austen was still alive, and I absolutely agree with you.
Mm,
We haven't heard from Kathy yet, and we're just about out of time. Is Kathy with us?
She prefers to be in the background. I actually
Okay.
messaged her.
And I need to be clear. Is Wilkinson your first name or is Francois your first name?
Wilkinson is my first name.
Ah,
Okay,
mm.
very good.
cool.
Cool. Monique has also named Tom Clancy. Yes, and
Yeah.
these authors that you just trust in the quality of their books, and we want to get you there, that you're following, and the people who read and buy your books will say the same thing about you when they're asked this question.
Can you say the name, last name of Tom again? Tom.
Tom Clancy, that's Clancy. Yes.
What about Monique Elias? Monique, we haven't seen your book. What is the title of your book? She's on mute.
Oh, it's a children's book.
You
What
have
is
a
it? Oh,
picture of
Faces and
it?
Places in the World.
Can we see a picture? Oh, there it is. That's the picture on your left. That's the book.
I can't even see a picture. Here, I
On the
think I can
wall.
put one up.
On the wall behind you.
Oh no. That's my old painting I got from my parents years ago.
You don't have your book with you?
I don't have it. I do have a picture of the book. 1 second.
Aha.
My computer. I just have to go and find it.
While Monique is looking for the picture of her book, and Wilkinson as well, if you have your book, you can hold it up. But we have 3 more points, and just in the interest of time, let's go through them. So number 8, we've already kind of touched on. So it improves your target's decision making. So brand positioning and your personal brand will actually help the decision making of your target audience. So basically, your target audience, your reader. So let's say for John, the people who like reading cowboy books, if they see your personal brand and they're like, oh yes, John's got a cowboy on his website, that's the genre I like, it'll make that connection in their mind quickly. And so they go, yep, I do actually want to read that. That's the genre that I like reading. So things like that kind of help your target audience improve their decision making, because they relate your brand with something that they already like. Does that make sense for everyone?
Yes.
What about Stephen? What would you think is like part of your personal branding, your possible personal branding that can improve your target audience's decision making?
Well, it makes me happy to hear so many people have shared about religion. And I guess if you were to brand my books rather than me as a person, my books are about religion also. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is commonly called the Mormons, a very misunderstood group, probably the fastest growing Christian religion in the world at 16 million and growing. Probably one of the greatest organizations for good in the world. Wherever the Red Cross is, we're there as well. The reason I wrote Two Runs of Stone is I wanted to explain to people that Mormons or Latter-day Saints are not a bunch of old men with long beards and 4 wives. Polygamy was a part of the early days of the church. It was compelled upon them. Maybe 2% of the men practiced the order. It was a very dedicated group that did, but it was outlawed over 100 years ago. And there's a lot of negative out there about whether are Mormons Christian. Well, they are certainly Christian. The name of the church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Hebrew Gold also is about the Hebrew writing styles of prophets of God. It is found within the Holy Bible. It's replete in the Holy Bible. And for heaven's sakes, there it is in the Book of Mormon also. How did it get there? That's one of the messages of Hebrew Gold. So like Father John and like Naprasan and who else? There's about 4 of us here that our religion seems to be part of our genre. But I will say one last thing. 2 Runs of Stone is not an in-your-face about the Latter-day Saint religion. It is a historical document. It's absolutely true history taken from old journals. It took me 15 years to write the 2 Runs of Stone saga, and it was mainly targeting people in general to help them understand who in the world are these folks called the Mormons. But thank you for asking me. I really, really appreciate sharing that with you.
Thank you, Stephen. And I think that's really amazing what you're trying to do. And that definitely helps your personal brand because it's something specific. I don't think there's a lot of books that explore something like that. So I think that's definitely something you can capitalize on. And the people that are interested in not just religious texts, but actually religions in themselves, people that study culture, I think they would definitely be interested in reading your book. All right, just in the interest of time, we've got 2 more points about improving your business brand. So number 9, it prepares you for future growth. As an author, I think a lot of you have visions of what type of books you guys want to write, and it's not just a strategy, but it really is, I think, a vision of the type of material and the message that you want to put out into the world. And so I think having a personal brand is like a platform for that. Like it's a stepping stone, because then I think you can actually, with a great brand presence, you will be seen everywhere, online, offline. And this will help you grow and write more books in the future. Wilkinson, I don't think we've heard about the type of books that you write. So what do you think is your future vision for your growth as an author?
I think I was asked this question if whether I'd write anything else besides my first book that just came out just within the last 3 weeks. And of course, it's a memoir. So, and I've also mentioned that I am a truth seeker, meaning that in anything where there's truth, I seek. And as well as having to explain myself is one of those things that I see about me. If you were to ask me something and that's what it is, and I will tell you. So that makes me who I am. So, but as far as writing anything else, I mentioned this. I'm currently working on other projects, and anything as far as a book adaptation for film. That could be something that I would work down the line when it comes down to my first book. And I'm also working on audio books. So all of these projects probably would prevent me from having to write anything new. But if I were to, in the near future, knowing what I do know now, and as much as the research that I've done when it comes down to history, the family court system, maybe I could brand this whole knowledge into something new where I write a nonfiction book, but it probably wouldn't be something related to all those things that I just mentioned. Anything having to do with truth, history, law, and they're all, intertwined into one. So that's probably the direction that I might go with my book.
Do you have a website, Wilkinson?
Yes, it is called deadbeatjudge.com. Um, it has backlinks to where you can actually get the book itself. So the name of the book is called "I Know a Deadbeat Judge When I See One." So of course, so the website is actually dedicated to it, but who knows? So I might branch out into other things. So
Well, I love
I
it that you are a seeker of truth. I think we all
I'm
are.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I say I love it that you're a seeker of truth. Excuse me. I think we all are. For an example, myself, I know that I could write a real slam dunk novel filled with sex and violence and crime and mystery and spies. I know that I could do it, but I'm not interested in making money per se. I'm interested in spreading the truth, and that's the fact. I am writing a book that is a little bit off of the religion, and that is this the Wrath of Grapes. I'm having a lot of fun with that, but writing for money is not what I've done. I'm certainly wanting to share with people, and it's like I think someone said here today, if we can reach one or two people and make an impact on their life, teach a truth or change a behavior, and they're grateful that they learned it from us, what a good thing that is.
Yes.
Thanks
Yes.
again.
Absolutely.
Yes, amazing.
Totally agree.
I think that's like when you said you're a truth seeker, Wilkinson, I looked at all of these authors on the screen and I was like, that's what everyone here is, absolutely. And it's very strong. And I think your future as an author, if you do choose to write another book, will be very poignant. Like you're a truth seeker, and that can be your business brand. Absolutely. Amazing. The last one, just because we've actually gone a little bit over time, your business brand, if you have a really strong one, can withstand disruptive messaging. I think what Stephen shared about spreading truth about the Mormon Church. If you start building up your personal brand as a truth seeker, like what Wilkinson was also saying, you can withstand disruptive messaging out in social media. There's a lot of negative responses and things like that. But if you have that foundation, and that foundation can actually propel you more, and with your future growth and everything, if you have that strong foundation, you can absolutely withstand all of that disruptive messaging that happens online. So all of this kind of flows through and follows through after you've built up your personal brand and your business brand, I mean. Bob, you've unmuted yourself. Did you want to say something?
Well, I was going to say, can you define disruptive messaging? I'm not quite sure what that means.
So with online, just being online, there's a lot of people that will just comment negative things about. We've seen it on other books. We've seen it on just any media that just has a very big online presence. You will get those one or two naysayers just saying, nope, I don't agree. Nope, I don't like the way you've written your book, or anything like that. So,
Let's go on Twitter.
that's right. Twitter is the pit of that. I find there's so much on Twitter. But if you have a strong foundation in your branding, you can overcome this very easily, I feel. And that's something that we can help you with when it comes to optimization of your websites and just things like that.
Because we all have a goal. Like,
yes,
we all have different goal, but but we just need to stick with our goal, like strong. Like Brother Steve said that, just touch one person. Your book is well done. Just touch one person. You never know that person might turn to be like a Billy Graham. Touch that one person.
yes, absolutely. And when you have that branding, and you've touched your target audience, they eventually they will defend you, they will fight for you, they will protect your brand. One person will easily multiply into your own community. And that's our goal for you guys as authors. We want you to have that community around your writing and your books.
I love the name of your book, Son, from religion to relationships. It's
Thank
excellent.
you.
And Wilkinson, I have to compliment you on the name of your website. Absolutely catchy. It's a great name.
Thank you.
Yeah, all of us, all of us unique. Yeah,
I think so. Agreed.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is so new to me.
Let me take my hat off to
second
Father
day.
Bob. I am delighted to see the number of books you've written, as well as John Harold. Congratulations to
Yeah.
both you guys.
Thank you.
I will check them out for sure.
Why not we
Absolutely.
request everyone to show their books and let's take a screenshot? All right.
You mean all at
Just don't
once?
cover your faces. Wilkinson, do you have your
Oh.
book with you?
I went to a rally for Sarah Sale, who's running for senator, and I had given up my last copy. I've done that. I should
you
not
have a
have done that,
photo?
but I
Okay.
did.
A
That's all right.
photo of your
Give
book.
us a thumbs up, Wilkinson, and we'll edit your book later.
All right. Okay. Let's have a screenshot. All right, everyone, show your book copies.
Everybody at the same
All right.
time, Frank?
Yes, everybody at the same time. Ready?
There we go.
1, 2, 3,
two,
go. All right. Got it.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. That
Thank
concludes
you.
our session.
Thank
We've got
you.
points of improving your business brand. This is also available on the Reader's Magnet website as a blog. So if you wanted to have a look on there, you absolutely could. And you can look through the 10 points that we just went through. But this was such an amazing session, everyone. I loved all the points that you've discussed with the other authors. And I hope you guys found value and enjoyed the session as well.
Great job, Caitlin. Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Amen.
Stephen.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Beautiful.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And thanks for
And
Good to
everyone.
see you all again.
we still have a
Bye-bye.
5
Bye-bye.
p.m. schedule later. So if you want to go ahead and join and hop into the